guys, it's your girl Katie aka Action Jackson, back with another video. Today I have another nursing school video. This is going to be my second video talking about nursing school, you know, what I do. I got asked to do a video study with me, or like how I study tips. I got a lot of requests for a video like that on my first video. If you have not watched that, please go check it out. That was kind of like an overview of my first month. And I am now in pretty much my last couple of weeks of school. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so tomorrow's November 28th. My last official day of school is December 16th, so I got like 18 days left. And y'all, I just cannot wait. I literally cannot wait. I am so ready to be done with this semester. So today we are going to be talking about study tips. I feel like I could benefit talking about this because I study a lot. And I do have, I feel like, a foolproof way of studying. I do the most when I study, but that is because with the way questions are structured and the way tests are, I feel like you have to know every little piece of material, or at least try to. You cannot go into a nursing exam blindsided, and I'm just here to help you guys get around those barriers. So if you want to know how I study and how I do the best on my exams, keep on watching. And if you're new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, you guys. It would mean the world to me. I'm trying to hit 3K maybe before the new year, but I'm honestly not sure if that'll happen. So I technically study 4 different ways. So I have 3 classes right now. Well, technically 4 because I have a clinical, but I have nursing fundamentals, I have nursing skills, pharmacology, and a clinical. So for different classes, I use the same techniques, but I kind of study different ways. I'm just going to give y'all a quick rundown of what each class is really about. Nursing fundamentals, you learn about a lot about the nursing process. So ADPI, if you're a nursing student, you kind of know what that means. Assessment, diagnosis, planning, implementation, evaluation. If you're not yet, you'll get it. But we learned a lot about the nursing process. Basically like the basic fundamentals on how to deal with patients and how to work, you know, being a nurse, doing basically all the basics. That's kind of what it is. Nursing skills is where you learn obviously all your skills. So blood pressure, physical assessment, heart sounds, lung sounds, administering parenteral medications, oral medications, like basically all of your skills. Well, not all, because it's only first semester, so you'll learn all the first semester skills. Pharmacology is exactly what it sounds like. Medications, the actions, the uses, the side effects, the adverse reactions, the contraindications, like everything revolving around medications is pharmacology. Those are my 3 main classes. I'm going to start with fundamentals and skills first because I study pretty much the same way for both of these. One disclaimer I'm going to say is I can't speak for every university. I don't know if my school and your school get the same kind of tools. So, but I would assume everybody would get a basic PowerPoint. So I'm on my iPad. We use an app called Blackboard. I don't know if you guys use Blackboard or a different website or whatever. If I go into whatever unit, this is our sleep unit, we get PowerPoints. So when we're in class, when we go to lecture, we usually just go through the entire PowerPoint and we kind of like read the PowerPoint together. This is when I take notes. So I will either take notes in class, or if I haven't read the PowerPoint, when I get home and I'm like studying for the test with this unit on it, I will go through all the PowerPoints for every unit on that specific exam. I will read the PowerPoint, and as I'm reading the PowerPoint, I will make notes. The first slide of this is saying like the definition of sleep and the different types of sleep. If I can remember it, or if I kind of already know it, or I kind of already understand it, I won't write it down. But if I don't know it, I've never seen it, I don't really get it, I will write it down. It's a proven fact that repetition and rewriting things gets it into your memory, and that's kind of how I study. I re-look at things and reread and rewrite so many times until it's stuck in my brain. So I'll go through this whole entire PowerPoint, y'all, and I will take notes on every single slide. The second way I like to study is through reading the textbook. Obviously, the textbook is like the #1 source of information. We use a Kosher book, or that's like the main. Let me get it. So this is our main textbook. It says Kosher and Herbs Fundamentals of Nursing. I don't know if y'all use this book, but I'm sure y'all are using some type of Fundamentals of Nursing book. And if I just open to any page, you can see my highlights. I go through the textbook. I read the chapters for the units that are on the test. When we have a test, there's multiple units on one exam. So the last exam we just took were units 13 through 20. So that was 7 whole units on one exam. So going through and reading the chapters are going to tell you everything, literally. Like, everything that is in the PowerPoint came out of the book, which is out of the chapter. So I go through and I read, I highlight in the book. This is my book, I paid for it, okay? I paid a hefty amount for it. So I go through, I can put I'll put like post-its, or I'll just highlight and make notes and make it easier on myself. I feel like reading straight out of the textbook is a surefire way to get information. The textbook isn't going to miss anything. It isn't going to not tell you anything. We really need to know. Every time we ask a teacher something, they say, go read the closure. Go see what closure says. Read what the book says. Like, they refer us back to the book so much because the book has literally all the knowledge. So here's the thing. So I take my notes on the PowerPoints first because I feel like that's what the teacher wants you to know, because they make the PowerPoints. So they're picking out all of the information that they really, really, really want you to know, and they're putting it in the PowerPoint. So after you read what they really want you to know, then you can go into the book and you can get the whole picture of everything. Third, now, this is another thing. I am not sure if everybody at every school gets these things, but at my school, the first day of school, we got this really big manual, and it had every single unit in it. And before we start a new unit, there's a paper, and it usually has learning outcomes. Those are the things that you should be successful, and those are the things that you should know by the time you're done reading this chapter and by the time you're finished with this unit. So it'll be like a list of probably like 11 or 12 learning outcomes, and I can actually pull some of them up right now on my iPad. So basically, how you can see, I did nursing skills learning objectives for this, which is for unit 4. I just pulled this out of my Google Docs really quick. So the first learning objective is examine the purpose and steps included in each stage of the interview process. And basically, I will write out or type out the entire answer. So an interview has 3 major stages: the opening, introduction, body development, and closing. And then I went and wrote in exactly what goes on in each part. So I basically write out all the objectives. Those are in blue. And then in black, I write out the answer. And my purpose for this is really to know exactly what they want us to know, because obviously they wouldn't give us the handout that shows all the objectives if they didn't want us to know those things, if those weren't important. So to make sure I really have grasped every concept, I usually type out every objective, and then either using the book or the PowerPoint. And by the time you take your notes on the PowerPoint and read the textbook, you barely even have to go back in and look for the exact answer, because it's probably in your head by then. And then I type out all the answers to those learning outcomes, and that's just like further solidifying, because you're again seeing the information, you're again writing out the information, and it's sticking in your head more. Those are basically all the study techniques I use for my fundamentals in my skills class. Now, the last study technique that I use, and I saved this one for last because I mostly use this for my pharmacology class, is flashcards. Flashcards will save your life. They're portable. Once you fill them out, you can take them with you anywhere. A lot of people do flashcards online, like on Quizlet or something, but I'm old fashioned. I like to write mine out because I have like different colored pens and pencils, and I write them in different colors. And I don't know, rewriting things is really like my study. That's my way of studying. Rewriting, because it gets it into my head. When I use different colored highlighters or pens, like, it draws my attention, and sometimes like I can just close my eyes and see it. Like, pharmacology is such a hard class with so many different medication types. So many different medications can help so many different diseases, and they all end in zide, ride, mide, lied. They're super, super duper long words. You have to know the action, the use, the side effects. You have to know so much for so many drugs that flashcards really, really do help me. I also do read my pharmacology book, but I hate reading the book, but my teacher for that class gives us really thorough PowerPoints. That's another thing. Pay attention to what your professor is saying, because they might say a little like hint or a little thing that's really not on the PowerPoint, and it'll show up on a test, so you just kind of had to be listening. Some teachers, you can record their lectures. Some teachers you cannot. My pharmacology teacher does not allow, she doesn't allow, she really can't tell if someone is, but she doesn't allow anybody to record her lectures, so you really have to try to pay attention when you're in class. One more thing that I like to do for skills, because skills is more of a hands-on class, I do like to go into YouTube and search up videos for things that I'm not really for sure about. So if my test was on taking a blood pressure, if there was some things that I couldn't really remember from class, I would just YouTube search nursing skill, taking a blood pressure, or applying blood pressure cuff, or reading the blood pressure reading, and a lot of videos will pop up. Just make sure that you're watching like a certified channel and you're not just watching somebody who thinks they know what they're doing. So you can see the real procedure step by step, knowing exactly what you should do. Guys, that is pretty much all I do to study. Like I said, I do a lot when I study. Keep in mind I have 3 classes, so if I am doing all 3 of those steps for every unit, for every test, for every class, it does become a lot. But I have done pretty well on my exams in nursing school so far. I don't think I'm going to fail any of my classes. I hope I don't, because anything could go wrong at the last minute, but I am in pretty good standing right now with all of my classes. That was my study tips and study habits video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any more suggestions on nursing school videos that you would like to see, do not hesitate to leave them down below. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!